The emergence of new technologies and platforms often raises questions about how they might be used for good or how they might perpetuate harm. Welcome back to Dentsu and our series, Roads to the Metaverse. We are all too familiar with the dangers of misinformation spread on social media or online bullying and harassment within gaming communities and the social internet at large. But the internet has been a place for connection and growth as well. Take the music industry, for example. YouTube, SoundCloud, and even MySpace created platforms for artists to share their music and get discovered. It was a golden age that did away with the big name record labels serving as gatekeepers for what we listen to. Many consumers are rightly skeptical of big tech. In the current landscape, tech's homogeneity has made the internet unsafe for marginalized identities. If tech companies and brands can't manage misinformation and toxicity of simpler platforms, how can they be trusted to do so in the endless, diffuse world of the metaverse? To combat skepticism and reach consumers, brands will have to start from a place of transparency and authenticity. Today, we're here to talk about good in the metaverse. Here to talk about good in the metaverse is Krystle Tabujara, Culture Director of dentsugood. dentsugood is Dentsu's sustainability accelerator, which drives change across culture, content, partners, and policy to try and create for good. Krystle, in the last episode, we talked about identity in the metaverse and how users don't necessarily have to show up as themselves. Can you walk us through the opportunities for good presented by the virtualization of identity in the metaverse?
Hi, Christina. So the closest predecessors we have to the metaverse are open-world video games, which have been fraught spaces, home to both toxic harassment, but on the flip side, places for inclusivity and experimentation, unbounded by real-world concerns. Let's jump in and talk about it. One example is in 2009, same-sex marriage was made possible in the open-world game Sims 2, 6 years before it was legalized federally in the US. Thousands of users were married in the Sims game and held wedding ceremonies that were illegal where they lived.
So, in a way, brands in the metaverse have an opportunity to promote meaningful progress before we see it in the real world?
Exactly. In addition, avatars and the virtualization of identity allow major opportunities for self-expression. And by breaking down barriers, by bringing together people who may not interact in the physical world, the metaverse can also offer safe spaces for gender exploration and open new forms of accessibility for people with disabilities.
So let's talk about new forms of economic empowerment. How will the metaverse enable a new wave of the creator economy?
Great question. Decentralized technology is already giving rise to a creator economy that is redefining notions of value and ownership. This presents new economic opportunities based around digital art, creation, and exclusivity. The emerging trend of play-to-earn gaming represents a shattering of traditional economic barriers, setting up a world where non-traditional skills and education can be valued, and people can build careers in virtual spaces.
Okay, this all sounds so great. Is there a downside?
Both the crypto economy and play-to-earn presents challenges that must be kept in mind. For play-to-earn, connectivity represents a massive barrier to entry for some. Internet access is unequally distributed across the globe, giving those with internet access an upper hand in these emerging markets. Access to the metaverse will also require access to the tech products that become standard for use, which will mean costs that not everyone can meet. Brands who want to do good in the metaverse will have to think of ways to make access to their products more universal.
Additionally, there are environmental concerns of the metaverse. Carbon emissions related to Bitcoin and NFTs are on the rise, and young environmentally conscious users will be deterred if they believe that their participation will perpetuate climate change.
You're right. Brands will need to think about how they'll offset this. For example, the digital artist Beeple has committed to carbon neutral or negative NFT artwork by contributing to renewable energy or conservation projects. Brands will need to strategize how they can be environmentally good as they enter this new phase of digital innovation.
Just like with more traditional issues of equality, brands need to embrace diversity in leadership to make sure the metaverse is properly inclusive. The stakes are too high not to care. By not learning the lessons of the past, there will be further divide, impacting humanity and the environment.
Bridging the digital divide will be vitally important, and it'll require significant global investment. Early efforts by brands to address the digital divide are worthy, but don't go far enough. This is where Dentsu and dentsugood can help.
To start, brands will need to integrate with gaming communities authentically and transparently to make sure they are seen as adding value rather than intruding on a utopian digital ecosystem. The best way to do that is to start thinking about these issues now. Get in early and position your brand as a pioneer. At Dentsu, this is what we do best.